Alright, so, here's what we know so far. There are near infinite alternate universes, which means there are a near infinite number of different versions of everyone. With me, for example, there's me, myself, and Dr. Wimbledon, just to name a few. Many of these alternate versions have unique abilities like teleportation, dragon shouts, or being impervious to bullets. If someone were to kill an alternate version of themselves, they would absorb the essence and powers of the one they killed. Regardless of what they're like individually, all versions of a person are based on a single copy, the one in Universe Prime. On the other side of the spectrum, we have Universe Zero, a version of reality that exists in complete opposition to what goes on in Universe Prime and its derivatives. Universe Zero Mike has been killing off other Mikes for God knows how long in order to kill me, thus taking my status as Mike Prime and altering every Mike in the multiverse to fit his image. Do you got all that?
I was there for all of this.
As was I.
Why on earth do you think we would forget?
Well, it's been a while since we talked about this, so I thought it was best to recap.
We all nearly died on several occasions because of this.
Because some people might have forgot. Never mind. Good meeting, everyone. That was awkward. Oh, obligatory X-Men theme? Now, I hate to admit this, but I don't remember a whole lot of this show. Hold on, let me explain. The run of the original show went from 1992 to 1997, so when it began, I was 2 years old. Frankly, a lot of the themes of being an outcast and discrimination and the like were a little over my head for most of the show's run, and by the end, the storylines had gotten so complex I didn't have an opportunity to catch up. The X-Men show I do remember a lot of, however, is X-Men Evolution. This version of the show ran from 2000 to 2003, originally on Kids WB. It featured almost all the main cast as teenagers, save Professor X, Wolverine, Storm, and Beast. We start our first episode at a high school football game where Toad is under the bleachers picking people's pockets. Because as we all know, there's never anyone under the bleachers at high school football games. Some football players catch him at it, however, and are about to beat the snot out of him when somebody steps in to intervene. So we come to the second thing I hate to admit. As a kid, I always liked Cyclops more than Wolverine. Wolverine just came off as kind of fake to me. It's hard to explain, but when literally every single facet of a character is designed to just say badass, it comes off to me as forced. Cyclops didn't need to growl or swear to keep people in line. He didn't go berserk or anything. He just kept a cool head on his shoulders. This version of Cyclops quickly finds himself in a fight with the lead football player, and bad times ensue. I think Wile E. Coyote would have scoffed at the improbability of that disaster. Fortunately, the kid doesn't remember what happened, having hit his head hard enough to crack his helmet.
You know me, skull like concrete. Ow.
Oh, you poor baby.
And here we see that even in the X-Men universe, high school girls are irresistibly attracted to the biggest assholes. Meanwhile, Professor Xavier and Storm are at a train station to pick up their newest student, the Witch King of Agmar. I mean Nightcrawler. Finally, we get to everyone but me's favorite X-Man, Wolverine. He stops at Market, probably to pick up some beer brand beer. Oh wait, no, this is a kid show, he gets water. Despite mutants supposedly being a secret, he cuts the bottle open instead of dealing with the cap, thus making the container useless for holding water while traveling. We also see that Sabretooth is following Wolverine, for reasons. Meanwhile, at stately Wayne Manor, Cyclops and Jean meet Nightcrawler.
got a special gift that brought you here?
Maybe. Whoa.
And Professor X has some choice words for Cyclops.
Fortunately, no one was badly hurt and the true cause was not discovered. But you must be more careful, Scott.
You need to pick up one of those straps they give out for free at Sunglass Hut. Toad, meanwhile, has attracted the attention of the school principal, I think, who wants him to spy on the X-Men. Nightcrawler is getting settled into the manor, but still can't help but feel his appearance is going to make him an outcast. Fortunately, Professor X has a plan.
I'm normal.
Of course you're normal, Kurt. But not because of that machine.
Storm is right, Kurt. Normal is what you truly are. Never think otherwise.
No, being blue and furry is not normal by any definition of the word known to man. I get the point, and I'm not saying being abnormal is bad, but you can't just pretend he's an everyday guy. Toad, however, has finally showed up on Cerebro.
Cerebro?
Due to the more open use of his powers. I thought they were pretty open to begin with, but what do I know? Professor Xavier wants him to come try out for the X-Men and has Storm go out to test him in the most lethal way possible.
Do you know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else.
You were doing so well, show, and then you had to remind me of that movie. Toad and Nightcrawler bump into each other, and dislike is immediate.
The name's Nightcrawler, and at least I don't reek like unwashed lederhosen.
Get it? Because I'm German! They proceed to fight, and for whatever reason, Professor Xavier and Storm don't stop them, allowing them to smash a good chunk of the hall. The fight brings them to the Danger Room, which is set to kill anyone who enters without permission. Yes, set one of the rooms for your school for superpowered youngsters to kill anyone who enters it, rather than just locking them in, or using a sleeping gas, or any other non-lethal method. And before you can wonder why Nightcrawler doesn't just teleport them back out, or why Cyclops and Jean Grey were conveniently just getting ready to go into the Danger Room, the fight for their lives is on.
Keep them clear of the tentacles.
I'm not going anywhere near that line. Xavier manages to eventually meander over to the console and just shut the room off, leading to Toad running away and Nightcrawler teleporting away in guilt.
No sweat, Professor. I'll take care of it.
Because you totally know where he just teleported to. A kid wandering around to school? Better kill him like the rest. Cyclops goes to talk with Nightcrawler, though again, I have no idea how he knows where he teleported to, since apparently even Nightcrawler was unsure where he was going. They quickly patch things up, which is more than can be said for Toad and Mystique, who finds herself threatened by minor office supplies. I mean, by Magneto. And thus concludes the first episode, and it wasn't bad. The animation is mostly nice, if a bit choppy at times, the voice acting is good, and the bookends of Cyclops screwing up to Nightcrawler having to learn the same lesson work pretty well here. They're also the only two characters that have any kind of real personality in this episode, mostly because their story arcs are so similar. They're trying to do the right thing, but are put in situations that may not have a happy outcome. On the whole, this was more than just a decent series. The villains were three-dimensional, the problems were either exciting or relatable, and not every episode ended with the restoration of the status quo, which is always a major problem with this kind of show. I was dreading rewatching this for the horrible attempts at sounding like hip teens, but with a few exceptions...
Hey, check it. You rule!
You asking me, fool?
Dude, just don't hassle me about my shades and we'll call it even.
The dialogue was okay. Most of the series is on YouTube, the entire thing is on Netflix, and it's all free to watch on the Marvel website. This is one series that won't cost you anything to check out, and it gets my recommendation. Well, that's all I've got for you this week. I'll see you next time.